More than 3 days after that debate, it is still hard to comprehend what we saw from the president. The weak, raspy voice, the inability to complete basic thoughts. Most importantly, the failure to call out Donald Trump on his endless lies. Where was that? And yet, the very next day in North Carolina, there was Joe Biden, back to form, finding his voice, his winning smile, the vintage sparkle back in his eyes.
Winning smile, vintage sparkle, the vintage sparkle. It's back. That was MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski this morning. Charlie Kirk is back with me. So it was actually a breathtaking 15-minute display by Mika Brzezinski, who is working for the Biden campaign now, very clearly. Joe Scarborough noticeably absent from his chair this morning after saying on Friday
vacation
that Biden,
by himself is what they say.
Yeah, without his wife, right? That Biden needs to go, that they need to sub him out. So now she comes on solo, acknowledges that her family and she have long been close to the Bidens, which is, obviously, I guess, why she can't be objective, that in her hard left nature, and tries to chalk it up to the vintage smile is back, a vintage sparkle and smile are back, so all is well. But I want to go through how, the spin that she brought us through, because it was actually stunning to me. First, the excuses. We heard some of the staff, right? But she has more on why he didn't do well. Take a listen to SOT 6.
So what was different? A little more sleep? Perhaps it was an event during the day, rather at night. On debate night, 90 minutes, starting at 9 p.m., Joe Biden was fresh off back-to-back trips to Europe. The debate was also 2 weeks after his son Hunter was convicted on 3 felony gun charges and faces prison time.
Oh, this is great.
President Biden painfully told America he would not pardon his son. I really question his schedule. It makes me angry that he was moving across the world on 4 different time zones. It seems to me this is a lack of discipline.
Unbelievable.
Wait, hold on. I thought he spent a whole week at Camp David before the debate.
He did, but leading up to that. Correct? Leading up to that, 4 time zones, no pardon, a conviction, and travel. And it's just serious questions about his schedule.
I don't know about you, Megyn. When I fly to London, I can't complete sentences.
No, I'm done after that. I can't function for another week.
A whole week, I say we're going to beat Medicare, and I stare aimlessly. And what's so amazing, and this is what's important, is that they're doubling and tripling down on this is only going to further turn people against the Democrat Party. They know what they saw. And because of that, Megyn, now all of a sudden there have been increased Google searches of past Biden gaffes and past Biden type mistakes. A lot of people didn't know this or see this. They were like, wow, that's terrible. I know some moderates in my life that were texting me. It's like, wow, Biden's really terrible. And I said, have you guys not been watching? And the answer is they don't.
No, but now they're going to be forced to.
We are politics obsessed. This is our space, right? Every day we're consuming it. We're reading it 12, 14, 16 hours a day. For some people, they will do 1 to 2 hours of politics a month, and that's all they can handle. And so they might say, Biden's not up to it.
Even most of the most avid political consumers don't spend that much time watching or listening. I remember at Fox News,
not like us.
I saw some stat that showed, we were getting, let's say 3 million a night and 600,000 in the key demo, 25 to 54. And I never understood how with those numbers, those are good numbers, at least certainly compared to what they're doing today. Those are great numbers. I remember how do people know who I am if those are the numbers? And Roger Ailes used to explain that it's because it's not the same 3 million every night. And the average viewer spends about 15 minutes taking in your average Fox News show a week. Yep. The average viewer is actually not watching it 5 times a week. So, and those are people who are politically motivated to take in news. You're absolutely right. I wanted to make one other point. In that first soundbite we bumped in with, she said what a lot of Democrats have said, which is the problem with Biden right now is that his infirmity makes it impossible for him to stick it to Donald Trump. He failed in the debate because he wasn't able to raise all the points. I mean, it is true. He didn't raise points and he didn't try to do fact checking, but that is not the problem. The problem is that he is not competent to be president. It's not that his ability to argue has been undermined.
Well, that's exactly right. Well, And you saw this in the Reid Hoffman memo. So the he's a LinkedIn donor, LinkedIn founder, big Democrat donor. And he wrote there, he said, the most important thing of why we must stand by Joe Biden is being a good debater is not the same thing as being a good president. I was like, wait a second, hold on. He's not running the country. He's not making decisions. He's obviously being manipulated on a daily basis. And there are people behind him. And we have a right to know who those people are. We didn't vote for an administrative state. The American people, a lot of people voted for Joe Biden. Okay, did he get 81 million votes? I don't really think so, but whatever. The point is that he was the one on the ballot. And yet now we're supposed to just kind of retreat from that and act as if this is okay. No, this is a nation in shame right now because we look to our president and it's very similar to, by the way, for the 10 years that led up to Vladimir Putin, which was when Boris Yeltsin ran the post-Soviet bloc in Russia. And he was like publicly drunk all the time. And Russians were just so ashamed to see it. And by the way, Russian state media would cover it up. Like, oh, no, he's not drunk and he's perfectly fine. It's okay. I mean, it sounds a little bit, cliche, but it is the emperor that has no clothes. And people are starting to realize
Axios
this.
had a report this weekend that he's only working 6 hours a day. He can only work from 10 to 4. And after that, he's done.
Well, that's
we have a part-time president.
Oh, if even that. And again, so this is opening people's eyes to how the government actually works, which is the presidency under Joe Biden has become basically a photo op. Wake up, go take a picture with the people who won the spelling bee, go have some ice cream, maybe do a national security briefing so you're not totally out of the loop, and go take a nap and you're done. Where the real power is it Jake Sullivan? Is he running the government?
We don't know.
I don't think Kamala Harris is running the government. Merrick Garland. And this is one of the reasons why we're seeing, Steve Bannon go to federal prison. And we're seeing Peter Navarro go to federal prison. Dad is not home. So you have all these really bad people that basically are ungoverned within the government that have these like lifelong ambitions and they're going after them. Whether it be
Listen to this. Representative Ro Khanna of California, he's an official Biden surrogate. He said to the New York Times this weekend, quote, "We have a great team of people that will help govern."
That's it. No,
that's what I am going to continue making the case for.
This is
he says it.
This is profound though. I have right here the Constitution of the United States of America. And it is very clear the form and the structure that we're supposed to live under. And the form and the structure is that there is a president, not an administrative state that makes decisions. Now you have a presidency and people around you that counsel it, but that final decision, that final thing is a sign of a human being. I sign it, I veto the bill. I sign it and it becomes an executive order. The form and the structure of government post Woodrow Wilson is governance by experts. Think about how often, Megyn, have we heard, trust the experts, trust the experts. COVID was a perfect example of this, where you had a shadow government that was basically calling the shots that usurped some of the authority of Donald Trump. How often did you hear in the Donald Trump presidency, we're not going to follow those executive orders. We're going to take stuff off of his desk because we are the sovereign. And now you are seeing this play out. And that is why, as long as they can keep Joe Biden with a heartbeat, they think they can continue to run the government. And I hope it is an eye-opening experience for people that this means that your elections are not actually voting for an individual or a person to run the country. There is a shadow deep state, dare I call it a Leviathan, that is actually the power center. And when Donald Trump called it the deep state, that's exactly what it is. The CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, the Department of Education, this middle band bureaucracy, that is actually where the power lies. And Joe Biden is just a temporary figurehead being puppeteered.
Oh my God. Just as we're speaking, Charlie, this breaking from NBC News, Steve Bannon has arrived to report to prison at Danbury, Connecticut. Supporters standing outside of the prison chanted his name upon arrival. This administration is imprisoning its enemies, propping up a man in the presidency who's not actually president, even the 6 hours he pretends to be, and asking us to give him another 7 months in office and then another 4 years.
It is so outrageous, Megyn.
And it's so irresponsible and unpatriotic.
Oh, it's so evil. This is so anti-American. This is repugnant. By the way, your interview with Steve Bannon was awesome, and it was so great because I know that he has not always been kind to you, and I thought it was just so classy the way you did it, that there are things that transcend, public disputes. I just want to give you credit for. I saw that. I had such respect for you because he has his own style. However, there is a principle that is being violated here, right? No, it's very important. And Steve Bannon has his own style. And I was just doing a live stream with him last evening. And if you are willing to sacrifice all of your principles and all of the American principles just to put Donald Trump in jail or Steve Bannon in jail, then you must be defeated. I call it the Trump test, which is this. And this is the Trump test. And by the way, I have what I call the Biden test, and almost every conservative I know passes this, is are you willing to have Donald Trump become president if that means you will not lie, steal, cheat, or do illegal things? And if your answer is no, then I know what I'm dealing with. And by the way, most Democrats, their answer is no, I will not let him be president, and I will do illegal, unconstitutional, and evil things. Steve Bannon is going to federal prison. Yes, that's right. Steve Bannon is going to federal prison for a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor. That we have not seen this since.
He's committed the same offense as Eric Holder. Why isn't Eric Holder in jail? Why did he never go to jail?
Is making millions of dollars with working with law firms. And so the crux and the essence of what we're seeing with the Steve Bannon thing, and we saw this happen with the debate a couple days ago, you have an illegitimate regime. And I think this makes the Steve Bannon thing look even worse, that they cannot prop up 5 or 6 sentences together. And one of the top podcasters that is broadcasters and podcasters that is building an opposition movement, we're going to go put him in federal prison for 123 days in the midst of the presidential election. The man who was the senior advisor to Donald Trump back in the 2016 race and really got him on that populist nationalist direction. In this audience, everyone listen to this. You might hate Steve Bannon, hate Donald Trump. This is so evil what they are doing. We have never seen it in American history, ever.
Let me tell you a story about a guy named Leo Grillo. Leo was on a road trip and came across a Doberman. This dog was severely underweight and clearly in trouble. Well, Leo rescued the dog and named him Delta. But sadly, Delta was just one of many animals that needed help. And this inspired Leo to start Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill, care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. They've rescued thousands of dogs, cats, and horses from the wilderness, and they provide their animals with shelter, love, safety, a home. April marked 45 years since Leo rescued Delta, and Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions. If you want caring for these animals to be part of your legacy, speak with your estate planner, because there are tax benefits too. You can grow your estate while letting your love for animals live well into the future. Check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more and to speak with your advisor too. We call dogs a man's best friend for a reason. You can help those who need it most. Visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. deltarescue.org. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.